Prime Minister will be visiting Russia on the 8th of July, a crucial diplomatic visit. The first time the Prime Minister is visiting Russia since the Russia-Ukraine war broke out. There's a private dinner that has been planned for the Prime Minister as well by President Putin. He is also going to be visiting Austria, the first Indian Prime Minister to do so in nearly 4 decades, if I'm not wrong. Vasudha Venugopal is now joining us live on the phone line. So Vasudha, it's going to be a high-stakes visit. What all is on the Prime Minister's itinerary?
Well, Vedant, like you rightly said, this is the first visit of the Prime Minister to Russia after the war between Russia and Ukraine broke out. Remember, this used to be referred by Russia as a special operation, but of course it's a full invasion of Ukraine, and the Prime Minister is visiting Russia after this. Remember, there was an annual summit. There was a tradition of Russia and India holding an annual summit every year, and this annual summit happened last in 2019. That was the time when both of them met for the first but that was in the eastern city of Vladivostok, which happened in 2019, and of course it was an economic conclave. After that, in 2022 was the last in-person meeting of both President Putin and also Narendra Modi, the Prime Minister of India, and that happened in Uzbekistan, which there was a meeting in Samarkand, the SEO meeting. But after that, this is probably after 5 years that the Prime Minister is going to Russia. So clearly many things on the agenda. Clearly the foremost of all of that is trade. There is a certain imbalance between India and the imports and exports that India has with Russia, specifically with regard to buying oil at. So that is something that Vinay Kwatra, the Foreign Secretary, said yesterday in the briefing is something that will be addressed. And of course, the issue of Indians being recruited by Russians, on the pretext of fake jobs, 4 of them have died fighting on the front lines. That is also an issue that has cropped up. And Dr. S. Jaishankar, the External Affairs Minister, specifically said that is one thing that will also be brought up. Other than that, cultural linkages and also logistic projects and infrastructure projects, specifically with regard to Mumbai-Moscow corridor and also connectivity between Chennai and Vladivostok. These are things that are on agenda. So 8th and 9th is when the Prime Minister will be in Russia. 9th evening he leaves for Austria. He'll be there for 2 days. He'll be there for 1.5 days actually, and then he comes back to India. He'll be the first Prime Minister to visit Austria in 41 years. So clearly the first official bilateral meeting of the Prime Minister to Russia after he takes charge as the Prime Minister of the country for the 3rd time, a departure from his usual tradition of choosing either Nepal or, one of the Sri Lanka, one of the neighborhood countries for his first bilateral visit. So clearly a bold move. And also in the current political context with a war going on, with 2 wars going on in the world, this is,
absolutely.
And of course US elections coming up. This is an important diplomatic meeting that we will be tracking.